Chinese is a difficult language, and Chinese culture like its history, calligraphy, art and craft, ethics and tradition may sound boring and remote to many people, in particular to the young ones. But there is a strong pull in the Hong Kong community after the social movement to reinforce young people's sense of national identity through the understanding of their Chinese roots and culture. The recent policy adjust by Hong Kong government stresses the importance of Chinese culture in school curricula, while the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, the rejuvenation of the nation, were an important agenda. But how can Chinese culture be more relevant and sound interesting to young people? After months of doing videos for this channel, I found Mahjong is a good stepping stone to these subjects. Today, we will categorize our content into 3 levels of depth and difficulty. The elementary ones will be good for foreigners and kids to learn something basic about Chinese. The intermediate ones should be good for general interest, while the advanced one will appeal to those who are proficient in Chinese. Starting from the elementary, from our Mahjong 101 series, we share visual guides to pick up the Chinese numerals from 1 to 9 and the unit of 10,000. We also explain the 2 important Chinese words, the word for central, 中, after which the country is named, and the word for wealth, 法, which the Chinese have a keen interest in, and for this reason love the number 8, which sounds close to it. In the same series, the episode Why 4 show the Chinese words for the 4 directions, 东南西北, and the 4 seasons and flowers in nature. In future, we may use them to explain how 4-character Chinese idiom work and the beauty, precision, and refinement of the Chinese language. In the episodes on Mahjong Crossover Festival and Mahjong for the Dead, we put Chinese festival in a global perspective and explain the importance of agricultural calendar. The beginning of spring was celebrated as the Chinese New Year, while the harvest as the winter solstice. Implanted with strong Confucianism traditions, the Chinese also take ancestral venerations seriously and worship ancestors regularly in the festival of Qingming and Double Nine, and extend their care to other ghosts through the Yulam festival. At the intermediate level, we look into the various forms of art and culture embedded in Mahjong. From the handcrafting of Mahjong tiles, we introduce the heritage of Chinese calligraphy and seal engraving art. Through the subjects of Cheongsam, architecture, and furniture, we reveal the parallel history between various forms of art and design, and how they were affected by the lifestyle of people at the time and by the development of materials and technology. In less tangible aspects, the episode on Mahjong Crossover Manners explains how the games reveals the inner nature and personal character of people. As a reflection of one's conduct, Mahjong may help people to develop better habits and behaviors and perseverance in overcoming difficult situations. At the macro scale, Mahjong shows the Chinese preference for big happy gatherings that are hot and noisy, eat loud, and tight bonds between friends and families. With a priority of the mass over individuals, the Chinese appear more introverted and disciplined and have less concern for personal privacy, as explained in the episode on AI. We believe Mahjong may be a means to show and develop other virtues of Chinese. In the episode Who Created Mahjong, we trace the origins of Mahjong and share interesting folklore through which people will learn more about the history of China, in particular the more recent Ming and Qing dynasty, and the beginning of modern China. It touches on major events like Zhang He expeditions to the west and the Civil War of Taiping Rebellion, and places like Ningbo or Jiangsu. The regional differences in lifestyle and culture were also examined in the episode on the globalization of Mahjong. From this, one may know more about the spread and diversifications of the Mahjong game to other parts of the world and recognize the influence of Chinese cultures in other places. In the episode on Mahjong Crossover Queen, one may learn more about the colonial history of Hong Kong and its contribution in carrying down the Mahjong tradition while it was banned in China. It also shows the potential of Hong Kong as a good cultural bridge connecting the Eastern and Western worlds. In this episode, we also explained Mahjong was highly regarded by many famous people and scholars. To people like Chairman Mao, it was even been coined as a major contribution to the world by the Chinese after Chinese medicine and the famous Chinese literature Jin of the Red Mansion. At the advanced level, We expect the audience to know Chinese and have a stronger interest in the future development of Mahjong. We have created 20 quizzes to challenge people's knowledge of Chinese idiom. They range from something simple and direct to something more difficult. In the episode of Mahjongpreneur, we show the effort of some Hong Kong people, including us, in removing the bad association of Mahjong with gambling, and our attempt in repositioning Mahjong as something healthy, social, creative, and professional. With this framework of 3 levels, we can map our content better, and down below we'll list them out for your easy access. Hope we can also produce more interesting content and become good stepping stone to Chinese culture, as stated in our tagline, Mahjong Connects and Inspires.